Robot pool cleaners are pretty cool until they finish the cleaning and you have to go out and pick them up out of the water, get extra wet, and it takes a lot of time, and then put it on the charger and a lot of extra work. Well, in today's video, we're talking about the SPINO S1 Pro from Mammotion. This has an awesome auto docking system where once it does the cleaning, it can automatically be recalled here to the docking station, pick it up out of the water, recharge it, and then put it back in. All we need to do is simply empty the dirty bin right here. Huge thank you to Mammotion for sponsoring this video. Let's get started. Getting the SPINO S1 Pro set up, very simple to do. All we need to do is place on the front left and right roller. Those easily snap in, and the great news is they can easily be released. Now here on the back, we have the other roller, which we can easily remove by just pressing it in, and we can snap it back into place. Great for easy cleaning. And then here we have the debris container. So if we pull this open, you can see that we have a little bit of storage there, but you can also remove this. Now, once we've cleaned up the majority of the dirt, we can use this extra filter. And the great thing about this is it has Velcro here where you can remove it to easily clean it. So we can simply just pull that all off. Then we are able to go and clean this, and then we can just place it back on, just line up the holes there. And just like so, that is back on. Because we're doing our first cleaning, there's going to be a lot of material to pick up, so we're going to remove that filter and place that back. So that will need to be emptied every cleaning. And then up here on the top, you have the power button and you have the different cleaning modes. So you can just push the button and it will change that. You have the wall, floor, the line, the custom, and then all. So it's going to go through and do the full procedure. And on the back, you can see the roller. There's where everything's suctioning in. And then here we have a light as well as a camera for its navigation. Now let's get the dock set up. Now for the docking system, there are two parts to it. One is what you're going to put on the outside of your pool. So we're just going to place this down, and then we're going to put the charging station right here on top. Now, one thing to know about placement is you can't place it anywhere where you don't have at least 95 centimeters or about 3 feet for the robot to undock and redock. So we tried it on a different part of the pool, but because there is a step about 1.5 feet down, it wasn't enough room. So we're going to move it over here. Now with the wall height, there are a few other measurements you need to know to make sure this fits properly. It didn't quite fit this pool right. So first off, the overhang thickness needs to be less than 77 millimeters or 3 inches. And then the overhang depth is recommended less than 73 millimeters or 2 7/8 inches. The charging dock just wasn't able to fit over it. And then the water line needs to be less than 19 centimeters or 7.5 inches away from the top to the water. And then you need to have at least 35 centimeters or about 1.2 inches to be able to place the dock on. Now you also need to worry about if you have a cover for your pool. We have a cover here we're not going to be able to close if we have this installed. Now over here we have the base station, which is an early model. The final version will actually have wheels on the bottom, so it's easy to move around. But here we have some wheels that's able to easily pull the robot up and down, and this robotic arm that moves. There we have the charging pins, and then it has a port where you need to add water to make it heavier so that it doesn't fall into the water. So all we need to do to get this on is just place it right here and line it up with the pins. First try. And on the back here, we can see that the indicator of it flashing that it has power. And then we have the stop button, work and home. And if we push the work and home together, it's then going to release the arm so that I'm able to place on the robot. And there's also some hooks where this could be anchored down as well. And now all we need to do left is come back here, push work, and watch it clean. Now that it's in the water, it will head out and complete the task which you have asked it to do. Now once the battery runs out, it will automatically dock back at the charger, or we can simply push the home button and that will get the docking station into position to receive the robot, and it will send out the signal to have the robot come back. It then does the hard work of picking up the robot, waiting for the water to drain out, and then pulling it all the way back up so it is going to get charged and ready for next time. Now, if you don't have the capability to use the charging dock in your pool, or you don't necessarily want that, you also have a charger that you can use for the SPINO S1 Pro. So all you need to do is plug it in, and then you can prop it right on the charger. It's able to charge it up. Cleaning, I really like this little dock, how it just kind of sits outside the pool, make sure it gets all the water off. And there's nothing you have to pull out to plug it in to charge. Really nice. And now it will be ready to be used for next time. Then you can also manually put the robot in the pool. You just push the power button to cycle through the cleaning modes. Once it beeps, place it in the water. It does the cleaning, and then when that is complete, it will automatically dock to the side of the pool. And then it comes with a little hook that you can add to your pool pole so that you are then able to retrieve the robot. Now the real question is, how does it clean? Well, here's the pool before we started cleaning. A bunch of gunk that we need to pick up on the bottom. You can start it in the app, or you can do the charging station, and here are the different modes. You have the floor cleaning, which is just going to go back and forth on the floor. Next you have the wall, it's going to go up and down, and then you have the water line where it's going to stay at the top to really clean that water line. You then do all, where it's going to go through them throughout the battery life, and then you have custom, where you can choose 1 or 2, and then it's going to complete those until the battery life runs out. The app also has the option to create a schedule where you can have it set to automatically go out multiple times a week at a certain start time. You can choose what type of cleaning it's going to do, so it's automatically going to run that on its own. You don't even have to interact with it other than cleaning out the debris that it picks up. And then you can also adjust the type of floor that you have. Here we have it set to aggregate, and then there are a few other settings that you can choose. If you don't have the dock, you can have it buzz, or you can have it go to the water line when it is done. Starting with cleaning the floor is how this works is it's using an onboard AI powered vision camera that we saw at the front, which is able to identify debris, edges, steps, and obstacles. They're using what's called Zone Pilot AI recognition that guides a more precise cleaning path. Now, I was so surprised at how crisp it was able to actually follow a path and go back and forth in certain situations. Now, with the depth here going from a shorter depth, about 4 feet, down to about 12, it did struggle to keep that path most of the time. Once it got down to the bottom, it kind of stayed there until I had to pull it back up. But I think the navigation system is really great. They just need to lock it in, and that's going to work really well. Now, this has what is called adaptive dirt response, where it's going to perform targeted repasses in areas that are high dirt. Now, sometimes we did see this kind of stuck in a little area, was very dirty. We didn't think it was very dirty until we pulled it out and we looked in the debris bin, and you could see how much dirt there was. We'll see that in just a bit. Now, not only is it using the camera, but it also has a time of flight sensor, pressure sensor, and an IMU, which enables stable navigation. So you don't see it, but there is a ton of tech built in here to help it navigate around the pool. Next, let's move on to the wall. Now, what this has to do is suction itself up and pull itself all the way up the wall. Now, it's able to do this because it has high flow suction power, with being able to handle 6,800 gallons per hour to remove the debris on the floor. So really cool how it is able to go up this. Now, I've had a few updates to the SPINO S1 Pro already. One of them was to improve the wall climbing ability. So here we have a little bit of a demo. I didn't get too much more in its early stages, but really great how it is able to do that. Now with this, it has adaptive suction boost that activates in edges and corners, so it can really get those clean. And then, as I mentioned before, it has the dual ruler cleaning. So it's able to scrub and vacuum simultaneously from both ends, so at the back, at the front. And this is removing fine debris in corners that other robots I've seen miss. Some of the things it picked up we actually couldn't even see on the floor. And one other area where it's kind of cleaning a wall is where we're going from the high to the low end. Here you can see those tire marks and the cleaning that it's doing. It hasn't been able to fully remove the debris, but you can totally see the different lines that it has created by rubbing its tires on there and then going by and cleaning up the debris. So every time we put this in the water, it's going to get the pool cleaner and cleaner. I did also see it climb this big step going up to the top and then going all the way back down. And it even climbed these smaller steps. Not sure if this is exactly how it's supposed to be working, but it's pretty cool that it was able to go up and get back down. And then it moves a little bit and keeps going back and forth until it cleans that full side. And the next mode is the line. Now this is supposed to go up and clean the water line, but one of the things it did first was the smart edge navigation. So it actually just drove around the very edge of the pool at the bottom, like perfectly lined up, Never seen something like this before, and it was able to get tons of gunk there that just kind of gets trapped in that bottom corner. So it did a great job going around doing that, and I think this is also kind of when it's mapping and kind of figuring out how the pool works, but it was able to do that multiple times. Now we weren't able to see it go up and do the waterline cleaning. That's where it goes all the way up the wall and then just kind of stays at the waterline and really scrubs that where algae and different things kind of build up. Now over time, I know the software will get improved so that this is going to work properly, but I saw this on last year's SPINO, but it did a great job following that waterline all around the pool, and I know this will be able to do the same once it gets finalized. I also dropped this in the hot tub to see how it would do, and here you can see we just don't have as much space. We have all these grates, so it did struggle to clean all the different areas. Here it got stuck on the little grate. I need a little assistant to move it on. Once it got up to the step there, it did a better job being able to scrub the step and kind of go around, even trying to go up the stairs. But for a smaller area, it doesn't do a great job, and you also have to have a certain depth for it to work. I think if you're above 2 feet, the suction isn't going to be quite there. Now here in the Mammotion app, we don't get too much info, but right now it does show that it's working. It's cleaning the floor and it's showing a duration. It's not updating yet, but let's go ahead and see how much it has picked up. It's been going out for about more than an hour. I just need to tap the recharge button and see if we can bring it back into the dock. So here it's going to end the task and return to the charging station. And here you can see it was able to get a ton of dirt, a bunch of leaves. I was seeing some of these big leaves. At first it did struggle to pick some of them up, but there you can see it did get them somewhere pretty big. So it was hard to pick those up, but there's a bunch of sand and other dirt that's in there. So we're gonna go ahead and wash this off. And as you can see, this was able to get a ton just because of how dirty it is. The larger basket filters at 180 microns, but the inner basket here is 38 microns. So that's going to be great for ultra thin debris that is in the pool. But this did a pretty good job for its first run in only an hour or so. Now let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we're gonna do it again and clean the walls. That's better. And after just having it go around a couple times, let's see how it did. So pulling this out, you can see there is a bunch of gunk there that it was able to pick up, and some trash and leaves and other big items, which is great to see. So let's clean this out. Oh, we even got a few more. We did another about an hour and a half of cleaning. Let's see how it did. Each time we're getting it out, and there is a bunch of debris and stuff in there, tons of leaves, and you can see how it's able to get the fine dirt that you just don't even see. Doing a really great job. Let's clean this out one more time. Now, when we started, you could see a bunch of leaves and other grime that was on the bottom of the pool, but after just a few days, it was able to get cleaned up. This is looking so much better. I think it's time for a pool party. Oh my gosh, why am I doing this? That's colder than I thought it was gonna be. All right, after spending a few days with the SPINO S1 Pro and the charging dock station, I think this is an incredible concept. I love how it can automatically pick it up and put it on the charging station. And then in the app, you can create those schedules where it will automatically bring it back down into the water and can do all of that for you. Overall, this does an excellent job in picking up all of the dirt and crumbs down on the ground. It wasn't able to get some of the bigger leaves that it found, but when we pulled it out every time, it was full of gunk, tons of stuff that we had no idea was even down there. Like we saw different plants that it's like, where is that even coming from? I guess they're growing at the bottom of the pool, and it was able to get those, and then we were able to remove them from the pool. So the more you do this, the cleaner it's gonna be, and just over time, it's gonna really filter out all of that dirt in the pool and leave it looking much better than it was before having the S1 Pro. Now, as for navigation, it was really cool to see it do different things, like on the bottom when it was doing the floor, it was able to go back and forth. And then when we did the line, that was the most accurate, where it perfectly got around the border of the line. And that's when I saw it pick up a lot of stuff that we couldn't see just because it was kind of stuck in the corners down at the bottom, and it was able to suction that up where we weren't able to see that just looking down at the ground. As we were doing the wall, we weren't able to get it to go up all the way on the wall. Maybe because the pool is too big. I will say this is probably larger than is the recommended size for this. So after seeing the different ways it can clean and seeing how some work better than others, I wish it was more like a robot mower where I had an actual map and I could see what it's going to be doing. During my testing, the app was updated, so at the end of the task, you will see this little map. Kind of cool that you can see that. And then also having the extra micron filter in there to really get that fine-tuned dirt is great to have. And being able to remove all of these different items, you know, right here, this is so easy to just pull off like that, and we can go and clean that very easily. Is so great. But I can see this working really well in a little bit smaller pool where you don't have as much of a drop off and it's more the same height all the way around. I think it could work really good. So if you want to support Mammotion in the new SPINO S1 Pro and their charging dock, make sure you check out the link down in the description below to learn more about it and when it will become available. A huge thank you for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one.